Welcome.
And how are you today?
Great to be alive.
Oh, do you know what? It is great to be back in the studio. So let's kick this programme off with Nothing is Impossible by the Plant Shakers.
I can do anything. I can do all things. 'Cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible. Through you, blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible.
Narelle, summers be kind to your mind on Swell Radio.
Hello and welcome back, and I'm joined by my special guest today, Paul Becque. And I really wanted Paul to come on my show because I think there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now with their weight because of what we've actually, just been through. And Paul's going to share his story and any tips and techniques that he's used to lose the weight and also maintained the weight as well. So, Paul, do you want to share your story?
Yeah, happy to. So I probably always struggled with my weight, up and down, up and down, up and down. Tried all the diets that everyone tries, and constantly failed. And I'll be honest with you, I've never been, particularly overweight. The worst case scenario is about 3 stone. So it's not too bad, at least in my mind's eye. But it was constantly on and off and on and off. So you have to go out and buy trousers that are a little bit bigger. And you can really tell by the holes in your belt, he's on another hole, another hole, another hole. And then you get to a point of pain where you think, I've got to do something about it. And you go on a diet and it comes off again. But the big difference, what really happened 6 years ago now, was I turned 50. No big deal. It wasn't a midlife crisis, but baby number 4 came along. And that was really the big difference, because on the day my son was born, my mother-in-law was the birthing partner, which was great because I'm not a big fan of being there, to be honest with you. And so when she said, can I be the birthing partner? I'm like, woohoo, game on. And so I got the phone call, legged into the hospital, and baby had been born. Everything was great. Everything's perfect. I've been very fortunate. I'm blessed with 4 very well children. And when I was holding him in my arms, probably about 20 minutes old, you turn to mush, you're like jelly, you little baby, talking rubbish, complete and utter rubbish. But it's a really exciting moment. And as I was looking at him, it crossed my mind that he's 0. He's just been born. He's not even a day old, and I'm 50. So if I want to see him get to 20, maybe go to college, university, I'm not going to dictate what he does, but I think education is a good thing. But if college uni is going to be about 20, so I got to be 70. And if maybe he's going to be married and have kids, hopefully about 30, because I don't like the kids to have, I don't want them to get start their lives too early. I want them to have some fun. That's what I'll encourage, but won't dictate. And I'm thinking then I've got to get to 80 to see him, maybe, or see my own grandkids. So that was really a big wake-up call for me. And I suddenly thought, here I am, heavy again. I feel sluggish. I've got to do something about this. And so that was a great thing that happened to me, really, because it changed my commitment level. That made me say, right, I'm losing this weight and I'm going to be the best weight I can. So I jumped onto the NHS website and saw what weight I should be for my age, my height. There's a whole little calculator thing you can fill in. And it was 10 stone, 10 pounds. And I was closer to 14. So I'm like, whoa, dude, you got some work to do. So at the time, a very popular diet, which I'd never tried, was the 5-2 diet.
Okay.
Dr. Michael Mosley, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll give this one a go and see how it works. And ultimately, I don't think there's a good or bad diet. It's a matter of what you can find that fits into your own life. And I'm a pretty busy guy, 4 kids, we're going to work. There's all sorts going on. So I think the 5-2 was easy for me because I didn't really have to change what I eat. I just had to have 2 days where I was good. And on the other 5 days, I didn't eat particularly bad anyway. I'm a big fan of salad. I can't tell you that I was a big fan of vegetables and fruit. Yeah, I eat it, but nowhere near as much as I needed to. And I wasn't a water drinker either. And so going on to the 5-2 fit into my life pretty easily. So 2 days a week, I had to be good. And it can be any 2 days. They don't have to be back to back. And within a few days, a few pounds would come off. And once the pounds start coming off, that's the motivation. Like, okay, this is working. And then I worked on it. NHS recommend like £2 a week. So you don't want to go crazy and lose way too much weight. So I tried to stick to that. And within a few months, I was down to my target weight, and that felt good. But what was really interesting for me was that as I started moving in the right direction, as I started to see the pounds come off, I wanted to help myself more. I got a little app and I was doing some calorie counting. And that in itself was a wake-up call. When you realize, I'm a big fan of nuts, and they say nuts to a certain degree is quite healthy. And then you realize how many calories are in them. It might be healthy, but a little packet of nuts, I'm like, that's not going to fill me up. That's not going to make me feel better. So you start to change what you eat. And then I started to find you can have a giant bowl of salad and it's still only 50 calories. So I really did move more and more and more towards salad. And then I got into smoothies, but then I found that smoothies have lots of sugar in them, natural sugar. So it's good sugar, but it still goes against your weight loss. So I had to be careful on those. And so it's been a lot of learning. It's been up and down, but I've really managed to keep that weight off. I'm 4 pounds over my 10-10 now, and that's really, I'm going to argue it's coronavirus. And then when the weather's good, like now, I'm out running, I'm out walking, I'm out having a good time. I love cycling. However, when it's been wet, the wet keeps me inside. I've got a little cycle machine that I use, and I've got one of those plates that vibrates. So I use that, but nothing for me, nothing beats going for a good walk, clearing your mind, and getting your 10,000 steps in. I even bought a smart watch, which I never thought I'd do. I wasn't a fan of those, but that's the easiest way I know to check on your 10,000 steps.
And I think you said something very interesting, Paul, that you found that, you know, the 5-2 fitted into your lifestyle. And I think it's really, really important when people are looking for ways of eating and exercising, that they have to do what is right for them. That is so important. I know, you know, me myself was a yo-yo dieter just like you. I would literally go on diets. I would starve myself. I'd go to one-off exercise classes, literally nearly killing myself and not being able to walk the following day. But I was desperate, and now when, you know, when clients come to me or people ask me what I eat and what's my exercise regime, I'm happy to tell people that. But the thing is, when I do tell people, they go, oh no, I won't be able to eat that, or I won't be able to do that. I love running. I run most mornings. But if somebody said to me, eat this and go swimming every morning, well, do you know what? I won't eat it and I won't go swimming. You have got to do what is right for you. And if you're doing it with a partner or a friend and you're copying it and it doesn't sit right with you, then it's not going to work. It has to fit into your lifestyle. And also, it is about sometimes re-educating yourself. You know, you've had a look on the websites, you've looked into calories, and you've re-educated yourself, haven't you? And also, you've formed new habits, new patterns that have worked for you. Now, you know, when you work with clients, what advice do you give them?
Well, first of all, I want them to be happy.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a weightist. So if you're happy with your weight and you're comfortable with the way you can get around in life, who cares, right? I know the NHS give you guidelines on what's the ideal weight for everyone, but ultimately I'm all about people feeling happy. So if somebody comes to me because they want to manage their weight, generally it's because they are feeling sluggish. They're sick and tired of not getting into their clothes. Maybe they can't make love to their partner the way they used to. There's all sorts of reasons for it. And then that's a good time to make a change. But don't make a change just because people are telling you you don't look good, or if they think you look too large. If you're happy with it, stick with it. You know, we're all different. But then if you come to your own conclusion that, yeah, it's time to make a change, then you've got to start looking at all the options that are available to you. And that's a really important word to me. There are lots and lots of options. As you just said, what you do may not work for me, and what I do may not work for someone else. So just find out what works best for you. And the other big thing I do with clients is once they determine what they want, so once they tell me if they want to lose a dress size, or they want to lose a few inches, or is absolutely, they know what weight they would like to be. And sometimes they use the NHS guidance, sometimes they don't. What I would want them to do then is start little by little, start moving in the right direction. Because I think when people jump into a diet plan and go hell for leather on it, they're going to fall off a cliff at some point. So the key is to move into it gently. Just take one little step this week. So if this week you're going to stop having that snack, you will normally have a packet of crisps in the afternoon, stop those. And then the next week we can start on something else. And then the next week we can start on something else. And as you say, what you're changing then are your habits, very gently. But if you try to change them all in one go, here you go. It's like a little bit like if you tried to go and take your driving test after one lesson, very good chance you won't pass. So you take several tests, and the first one you learn to steer. Or not several tests, several lessons. So the first lesson you learn to steer, the next lesson you're going to learn to use the clutch, the next lesson you're going to learn to get the right speed, next lesson, and you learn until eventually you can drive the vehicle on your own. And eventually, I imagine after 2, 3, 4 years, you're driving without even thinking. I know I could go and drive to my parents or my in-laws, and I don't even have to think about the journey. I know what I'm doing. That is now a habit. I've trained myself to do it. I know that journey inside out. And it is the same with a diet. That's what I've been able to do for myself. And so I'm a big fan of variety. I'm a freelancer, and I'm freelance because I love variety in all areas of my life. And so it's the same with dieting. So I don't have a strict regime where I have to diet on these particular days. I don't have a strict regime on what I need to eat. Funnily enough, I even became vegan a year and a half ago, and that's just by choice. I don't try to talk everyone into becoming vegan. It's not because it breaks my heart that the animals are being slaughtered. I mean, when you think about it, yeah, that's pretty heartbreaking, but that is not the reason that I did it. Again, my personal goal is just to be as fit and healthy as I can, and I'm trying to live to 100 so I can see my youngster get to 50. And so if I was to give anyone guidance, one is to absolutely get clarity on what your goal is. And if you become clear on your goal, then you can start to focus on it, and then we can start to move towards that goal, and little by little we grow our power. So that's the way I work through with clients.
Yeah, I think it's important to set a big goal. So if somebody wants to lose 3, 4 stone and they want to become, I don't know, 10 stone or 9 stone, and that is their goal. And then it's really, I tell clients that it's really important to break it down, like you have said, small steps. So have your big goal. Yes, that's great. But have little goals, because small steps lead to big changes. And also what you said, Paul, which I think is really important, it has to come from you. You need to know that you want to change. If you've got a partner nagging you, saying you've got to lose weight, you're fat, you need to lose weight, you're putting weight on, and they're putting pressure on you, and you go on a diet just for them, guess what? It's not going to work. You had that light bulb moment when you held your son in your arms, I had a light bulb moment that I'd had enough. I can't continue like this. So it has to come from the person themselves. They have to do it. And also, another thing that I actually say to clients as well is, don't weigh yourself. It is a number. And what you said, for your clients, you want them to feel happy. It's all about feeling happy. And when you look in that mirror, you look good and you feel good. Not be dictated by a number on some scales. That's my personal opinion. Because me as a woman, as people know, our weight does fluctuate, and men fluctuates depending on how much liquid you've drunk, what certain foods, for women, what kind of, time of the month it is. And those numbers on that scale don't mean anything. I haven't checked my weight this year, and it's June.
Yeah, well, I do check numbers and I do use scales. And I'm not trying to be contradictory to you,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's just because that's a good way to measure.
Yeah.
So again, I would certainly encourage people not to do it every day. They're going to go crazy. Personally, I check every week,
Yeah.
and that gives me an indication. And that lets me know how serious I've got to be about my fasting days. So if I'm like, oh man, I'm 6 pounds up, then I know I got to either get some extra steps in, or I'm going to have to go full on diet this week, or I'm going to have 3 fasting days. So that way I can manage it. And that's really how I've been able to control it. So that's my guidance system. So I can see where it is. And at the moment, it's about 4 pounds over. And that's not a panic, because hey, if I can lose 3 stone, I can lose 4 pounds when I'm ready. And I'm not having trouble with my belt. I'm not having trouble with my trousers. So I'm okay with that. But if it starts to slip up to 6, then that for me now is my danger zone. Like, whoa, let's get back down. Let's get back down. Let's get back down. And so you need a way to monitor it. But I agree with you. You don't want those numbers to drive you crazy. And if you've got that bigger goal, then the numbers can be the motivation to help you get to that goal. And you just need to measure what you're going to be doing each month, so that you can move toward it.
Yeah.
So again, I'm a big fan of following NHS guidelines. They say 2 pounds a week. So, okay, no more than 2, 4, 6, 8 pounds in a month, because if you're going for a stone in a month, then that's not good guidelines. So let's
Mm.
just follow that. Let's do it gently and see where we can be.
And also, if you're using the scales to maintain your weight, then that's fine. But yeah, it's what works for you. As you know, people do weigh themselves every single day, and that is not healthy. And as you say, if people do want to check in once a week, then check in. My check in is my jeans.
Yeah, that's a great way.
That's
so when they're too tight.
So I just think, there might be a little bit snug, right? Okay, or there might be a little bit baggy. That's great. But yeah, as I said, I haven't weighed myself this year, and I just maintain it. And I know now my level, because I've been doing it for a long time, I know my level of intake for food and my exercise, and I'm happy. Yeah. Just the way I am.
There is something I want to address, and that's the word happy.
Yeah.
So often clients will say to you, well, eating makes me happy. And I get that, but ultimately that is probably a disguise for what's making them unhappy. And so it's just a quick fix. So I absolutely understand it. And hey, I'm the same. Every now and again, I might have a packet of crisps. I think it reminds me of my childhood. A good packet of salt and vinegar crisps makes me feel like I'm 10 or 11 again. But the problem is you've got an underlying issue that might be why you're not taking care of yourself. And so happiness, you've got to really resolve what that happiness is, what makes you really happy. And for me, again, the light bulb moment was making me happy with know that I can be around for my kids as long as possible. Mm-hmm. And that's big leverage. That is big leverage when you can start working on something like that. And you might need to find leverage for yourself. Maybe it is about your kids, maybe it's about your grandkids, maybe it's just for you, maybe you care for your mum and dad, and so you need to be in your best possible conditions that you can care for them. I think they have a term these days, the sandwich generation. When I first heard that, I thought that meant we go to Subway a lot, but apparently we're sandwiched between our kids and our parents, and that's exactly where I am now. I have to take care of my parents, and I've got to take care of my kids, so I absolutely understand that term. So happiness, yeah, you want to make sure that it isn't just food making you happy. There's nothing wrong with going out for a good meal and absolutely enjoying it. But if you're snacking, if you're just grabbing food here, there, and everywhere, and it's out of control, it's because you're probably covering up your real happiness. There's something under there that you need to address. And certainly a coach can help you with that. That's one of the reasons why I trained in transformational coaching. So that isn't just helping people, it's transforming them and getting them to help themselves dramatically and change the way they think. And in fact, right now I'm working on neuroscience. I'm going through a neuroscience course so I can help people understand how their brain works, take it to a much deeper level. And we now have lots of shortcuts. One of I think they call it biohacking. I'm not a big fan of the term, but that's become a very popular term. It's how you can biohack your brain to get the results that you want. But I think understanding how your mind works, how your brain works, really will help you move towards the goals that you set yourself.
That's brilliant. And also, I think it's really important, and you touched on, having that packet of crisps because it reminds you of being, a child. You can have treats. There's a lot of information out there saying if you're on a diet, you can't have any treats whatsoever. And it is about having little treats and little rewards. So I agree. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So Paul,
a really good way for people that really struggle and can't control anything themselves and feel like it's really, really tough. And I don't want to make this an advert, but and I'm sure there are other ones out there. The one I know of is the Jane plan. And that lady Jane, she's measured all the food for you. They've checked the salt, they've checked the sugar, they've got all the portions done, they've checked all the calories. And in that, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you get snacks. And snacks can include chocolate bars and biscuits and things. But they've created them in a way that will fit into your diet. I think they work out around something like 1,200 calories every day. So rather than fasting 2 days a week, you just have a moderate 1,200 calories every day. But they've worked everything out for you. So you don't even have to go out shopping and buy anything.
That's fantastic.
Salad with it.
So Paul, I asked you to choose 2 songs. So what's your first song and why did you choose it?
You'll have to tell me what my first song is.
It's Happy.
Does Richard know what my first song is?
It's Happy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Pharrell Williams happy. Wow, that's me. That's absolutely when that song came out. That's my signature song, and I could sing that all day long. And I think that there was I know there was a 24-hour version of it, and I watched it. Literally, they had people dancing for 24 hours, and they were dancing all over the world. It was pretty amazing stuff. And I know that was just a publicity stunt, but I got hooked up in it, and I do love it. And I think it's pretty difficult not to be happy when you listen to this song.
Yeah, true.
So don't forget, if you've got any questions for Paul or Narelle, you can get in touch with us on Instagram and Twitter at Smile Radio 3, or we're on Facebook Live, and that's Smile Radio Yorkshire. So this is Happy from Pharrell Williams, and we'll be right back after this.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Narelle Summers, be kind to your mind. On Smile Radio.
Hello and welcome back, and I'm joined by my special guest, Paul Becque. And Paul, we've just been having a very interesting conversation in the studio here, me and Richard. I didn't realise this, but Richard, can I say this live on
Yeah,
there?
of course you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can. Okay. Richard is 50 this August, and
I know, don't look it, stop it.
Exactly what I was going to say.
and is in a very similar position to you. Obviously, he hasn't got a baby, but
No, I tell you what, I'd off my cup, sir. Well done.
and he's wanting to lose weight, and he's saying that he's really engaged in your conversation and really hooked on it. He needs to do something about his weight as well.
Yeah, because I'm 14 stone, and I would just say, and it's a gradual, and I've done all of that, and I've done the high protein, low carb, and I was just smiling to myself when you were saying all of this. And like if Marie, the current Mrs. Harrison, is listening, she'll be smiling to herself because I keep saying, yeah, I need to do something about this, and it's getting to a stage where I know that I need to, and it's not that I'm getting grief from anybody else, because Narelle will vouch for this. I'm very much my own person, and I only do what I want to do, and if somebody tells me that, I will push, if you know what I mean, against it.
Yeah, I think most people do that. And so what is the reason for you wanting to lose the weight?
It's just the clothes are a bit snugger, and and you catch yourself, and I'm turning to my dad, look at it. Oh, my dad's a big bloke, and he's carrying a bit of extra timber that he shouldn't be. But I mean, my dad's probably about 17, 18 stone, and he's not much taller than me. I'm only 5'7". So
right.
But I will look. It's interesting when I looked at, because my daughter's name, she's 13. Her nickname for me is Chubby, but it's a term of endearment. It's not, because when she was a baby, I used to get in the cheeks and go, "No, Chubby, Chubby," and it's kind of reverse. She calls me Chubby now, or Chub.
Yeah.
But I love that name that she calls me. Do you know what I mean? It's not a derogatory term. But I've lost my train of thought where we're going with that now.
She can still call you Chubby when you're
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just, anyway, I don't want to hijack your show.
No, it's okay. I think it's very, very interesting, because 99% of the time I work with women, and I can really relate to women, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you, Paul, onto the show as well, because I do know that men struggle with their weight as well. Obviously Richard's just told his story, and I know about yours, and men struggle with weight just as much as women. And I think also, I don't know, I'm just asking this question, Paul, do you feel that men are reluctant to ask for help around their weight?
I don't think they're reluctant. I think we in all areas of our life, we're all very good at just being able to say, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word, I can feel it on the end of my tongue, but we compromise. There you go. So we might know that we probably should be a little bit lighter because we feel sluggish. So a good example for me is I'm a keen gardener. I love gardening. And for me, that is a form of exercise. So much so that I've now got rid of my petrol mower, and I do it with a hair mower. And my neighbours think I'm a nutter.
I thought you were going to say you do it with shears.
Oh, no. Jesus. But I do it the hard way, and I break a sweat because I know it's good for me. So I still get the joy of gardening. In fact, it might extend the time that I'm gardening. And I know that I'm working out as well. And that's exactly what I was talking about when there's nothing right or wrong. It's about finding what works for you. So that way I get to enjoy my passion, my joy, even longer. It's just that I'm exercising at the same time. So it's a double win for me. And I think that's the key to success. So what we tend to do is, even in our jobs, and this year, the last 18 months, I've had more people contact me about career than anything else. And I think it's because we've been in lockdown and people have really had the opportunity to assess their work. And so they've realized they've compromised, and we all compromise because we think, well, it pays well, so I'll stay here. Or the boss, I don't really get on with them, but I've got security, so I stay here. And we do that all the time. Same with marriage, same with so many areas of our lives. And I believe that probably the same for food. We compromise. Well, I'm getting older, so it's going to happen. Middle age spread, and I believed in middle-age spread. I really, really did, until I had my light bulb moment. And then I kept saying, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And there's probably lots of people listening saying the same thing. It's just the way it is. It's middle-aged spread. We've even got a term for it, so everyone suffers from it, but it's not true. And one of my mentors, a gentleman called Jack Canfield, he wrote many of the co-authored many of the what's the name of the books? I'm going to forget
the Chicken
now.
Soup.
Chicken Soup for the Soul. Yeah, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
And he did The Secret as well, wasn't he? I think that's kind of.
He was on The Secret, yeah. But he's very much into, he's not very ethereal. He's really into common sense things. And he believes that the vast majority of us know what we should be doing anyway. It's an innate feeling inside us. Anyway, one of the things he taught me was E plus R equals O. So events plus your reactions or the way you respond to things equals your outcome.
Yeah,
that's really, really important. So if you know, for example, weight's an easy one. I use when I'm doing a retreat, I use this as an example. So events happen to you. In this case, it could be that you've put on 4 stone. And so how are you going to respond to that to get the outcome you want? So what's your outcome? What's your goal? Well, I want to get back down to 11 stone. Great. So if you're 14 stone and your outcome is 11 stone, what's your response? What do you got to do? You've got to lose 3 stone. And then you need to work out an action plan, how you do that. And so ultimately the R is responsibility. So if you take responsibility is responsibility, your ability to respond to events that happen to you. And if you're able to do that, you can always get the outcomes that you want. And so ultimately that then gets you out of any mindset that you might have that you're a victim. It's not my fault. Oh, it's all this fast food and I do this and I do that and it's not my fault. The minute you say it's not your fault, you've lost control of your life. So the minute you say it is my responsibility, it is my ability to respond, that becomes the important part, then you take control of your life.
Yeah, and it's the language, isn't it, that you use as well. If you say, oh, well, I've put half a stone on, it's that, it's just the midlife spread, or it's not my fault. I've got heavy bones. I've got slow metabolism. There's things that you say to yourself that it's the stories that you tell yourself to justify why you are overweight. And it's about changing your language and changing your story. And as you say, taking responsibility and taking action. There's no point in setting yourself a goal and then not having an action plan. Won't work. It's not just, it's like me saying, oh, well, I want £1 million and sitting in my living room with my arms crossed thinking, oh, well, it's just going to drop into my lap. I've got to get out there. I've got to work. And that's what you've got to do when you're losing weight. You've got to set yourself a goal. And how am I going to do it? What lifestyle changes am I going to make? What eating habits am I going to change? What exercise regimes am I going to do? What mindset exercises that I'm going to do? I think it's the whole package, the whole 3 that you've got to look at: your eating habits, your exercise, and your mindset, and the language, and change it.
A word I hear a lot is people say procrastination a lot, and especially if they're trying to change jobs, they know they want to leave, they know they want to move on, they procrastinate. And it's the same with weight. I don't know how long Richard has been telling himself that he would like to lose some weight, but he doesn't. And
how long, Richard?
Well, I've been carrying this holiday weight from about 7 years ago. No, I'm kidding.
Good holiday.
Exactly, yeah. Fortnight away, all inclusive, can't beat it. Anyway, no, I don't know. It's over, especially over lockdown. I mean, at one point I lost nearly 2 stone, and again that was, and I was really strict. If I put my mind to it, I am very headstrong, and if I say I'm doing something, I will do it. I'm a doer. But I've just been lazy. I know I've just been lazy, and and I know that I can and I will. But I just need that kick up the arse to be right. Okay. I need to crack on with this.
And today is the kick up the arse, Paul.
Yeah, it is.
And well, I would say that that's exactly what coaching is. It is that kick up the arse, and it helps you stay on track. So there's 4 steps. When people tell me they procrastinate, then it's very, very likely that they haven't even set out their goals. They know they want to lose weight, but they're not clear on it. They haven't made it really, really clear to them. And sometimes their goals, they're too big. say, oh no, lose 10 stone in the next month. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes their goals are too low. And so they're easy. Well, I can do it. It's only £6. It's like, well, you're not doing it because it's so low. You just keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And the other one is that sometimes their goals are somebody else's goals, their partner, mum and dad, things of that nature. Then the next one is that clear focus. So if you become focused on what you want, you're going to go get it. And I always use, we're probably all old enough to remember magnifying glass at school. And if you get the sun rays on it, you can get it just the right amount of distance from the piece of paper, and it will start to burn a black hole on it and even start it up. That's the sort of focus you need to get the results that you're after. And then after that, it's you hit it, Narelle, it's that action plan. So I say you're procrastinating because you've got no action plan, NAP. And that's an acronym for nap, right? Well, the acronym is nap. You're taking a nap. You're sleeping through life. You got to wake up to start moving towards that action plan. You've got to start implementing it. And then the last one is the most difficult. And that's when I think you really do need a coach to help you with this one. But the fourth step is mental barriers. So again, if it is you say, well, I love eating, we've got to get to the bottom of that, and we've got to work out what it is. And that is transformational coaching that you probably need. And ultimately, all of this is just an insight. You're just going to come across something that makes you go, yeah, why am I thinking that way? Why don't I take care of it? And once you get hold of that right insight, boom, off you go.
Well, because one of the things, again, I do research in everything that I ever do, and I have looked into, the NHS stuff, and my BMI, I'm medically, I'm obese for my size and my weight. I think is a BMI, is it nearly 30? I think it is. But even when I was at my fittest, I used to cycle to work. I used to play football twice a week, 5-a-side. I train twice a week. I play 11-a-side twice a week. I mean, I was fit, and I could run all day, and I didn't have much flair or finesse. Granted, I was the engine room. But but even then, at my fittest, I was only about 12 stone. But I had a good, I had a little six-pack going on and a bit of pecs. You know what I mean? I know. Something for a bit of eye candy for the ladies. Yeah, let them that for our listeners. There's you can have that image for free. But it's for me, I think I need to be about, according to NHS, about 10.5 stone. I've never been 10.5 stone. I would look ill if I was 10.5 stone, in my opinion. And that's where I think, for me, I just want to get probably back to 12 stone. For years, I was just 12 stone, and I want to get back to that. That's it.
And if I was coaching you, that's exactly what we would aim for then. If that's what your goal is, let's go for it, because it is about you feeling good. Yeah. And the NHS, it is generic figures. They can't know everything about you. No. They don't know. Some clients, they're bulking up. They want to have big, strong muscles. So they want me to coach them to ensure that they kick them in the arse to get all the things done and go to the gym as often as they should. And if you're bulking up like that, the NHS doesn't take that into consideration. And
you've answered my question there.
Yeah. So it's your goal. It's a personal goal. It's what you want to achieve, not what anybody else wants to achieve. And I think you've said a couple of times, Paul, there's a reason why people overeat. We have emotional baggage from our past. Things trigger us. People, and I am talking from personal experience here. When I was unhappy, my friends were the cupboard and the fridge. That's where I found my happiness. And then I put the weight on. I was unhappy, but then I couldn't get out of that cycle until I addressed my emotional baggage. There is a reason why people overeat, and it is really important to get to the crux of that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, a way around that is to work on some long-term goals, and I don't even mean just weight. This is, what do you want out of life? It's your life. You're blessed with being here, because hey, it's easy enough to go, right? And then it's game over. So you're here, and you're going to spend some time and start to think about what happens if you continue on the journey you're on. I always talk to my clients about this. I can give, when I do like a workshop, and you've got a whole group of people in front of you, 30, 50, 100 people, you can give them a trajectory of where they're going to be in 5 years' time, because all they've got to do is think about it. If they keep doing what they're doing, they're putting on an extra half a stone every year. Well, in 5 years, you can work out where you're going to be. If you're on the money you're on right now, let's say you're earning 40 grand a year, if you don't change something, the chances are you're going to be in that same job, and you might be lucky and get a little bit of a promotion. You might be lucky and get a little bit of a pay rise. You could be on 42, 43, 44 grand a year. Is that what you want? What do you want out of your life? Do you want to be in that job in 5 years' time? Because if you continue on the path you're on right now, you can see what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So if you don't like what that's going to be, and then you can do 5 years, you can do 10 years. Imagine if we stick to health and weight, if you continue what you're doing, you might just be shuffling around your home and not be able to get outside and get to the shops. You might struggle to get up and down the stairs and have to fork out now for a stair lift. You know, people live in these conditions. I know it's not all because of weight, and sometimes it's illnesses, and there's all sorts of other things that happen. So I'm not just blaming weight, but you can see some idea of where you're going to be if you don't change.
Yeah.
And so I often talk about 1 degree, that 1 degree change, that tiny little step in the right direction can change everything. So even if it's just half a pound a week, imagine where that's going to get you by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Half a pound a week.
Small steps.
It's nothing, but as you build it up, you change everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you want to introduce your second song, Paul?
Is it Bob Marley?
It is Bob Marley.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky enough to work on cruise ships. As a youngster, I was really keen to go see the world, because I've always wanted to know what life is all about. And one of the quickest, easiest ways for me to do that was to get myself a job on the cruise ships. So I went to sea when I was 20, and I ended up doing it for 18 years. Wow. Excuse me. And I became head of entertainment, cruise director, they call it.
Yeah, I used to work on cruise ships as well.
Did you?
Yeah, in the bars. Did you love it? Yeah, but we'll talk about it. You carry on. Sorry.
Good gig, isn't it? It's a great gig. And so I was lucky enough to do it for 18 years. That's where I met my wife. And I loved Barbados, and I love this song. It just, for me, just the Caribbean's beautiful anyway. It's paradise on earth. And this song really gives you the feeling that, hey, don't worry about anything. It's all going to be all right.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Saying, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Meaning, don't worry about a thing. Worry about a thing, no. Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry. Singing, don't worry about a thing. I won't worry, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright.
Narelle Summers, be kind to your mind. On Smile Radio.
Hello and welcome back. We've only got 10 minutes, Paul. That's gone
Uh,
really, I know, it's gone really, really quick.
8 minutes actually.
Oh, 8 minutes. Oh gosh, even go. So, if anybody's listening, Paul, to this and wants your help with weight loss or other things in their lives, where can they find you?
Easiest way is my website. That's
Okay.
Engage with Success. Engage with Success. And then there's a little form you can fill out on there, and I'll get hold of you, get in touch, and then we can have a 15-minute chat for no cost whatsoever, no obligation whatsoever. And if people are like, yeah, I'm really interested, then I send a proposal across, and they can see exactly how we plan to work together, and then they can say yes or no. Simple as that.
And are you on social media, or is your website the best place to contact you?
I think the website is the best place because everything is on there, but I'm on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, what is it called? Pictionary, Instagram, you name it, I'm on them all. But I'm not actively, writing to people, communicating people with all of that. It would take up too much of my time, but I post on them all very actively.
Okay, so the best way is the website. And what kind of things do you cover then, Paul?
I can help people in any area of their life. I've worked with people that have got trauma and are really struggling to come out of that. I help people with weight loss. I help people with relationships. The big one this last year and a half has been career. And prior to COVID-19, success and fulfillment was my big thing. And I was helping people to double their income and double their time off. So I'm a big fan of the vast majority of us. Again, we get stuck into a rut and we think this is what life is. This is what I've got, and this is the only way. And so what I do is help them open up their minds. I'm a big fan of the term CYT, catch yourself thinking, and they start to realize that they've got this 15-minute tape playing in their head all day long, the same thoughts over and over and over again. Again, I'm currently studying neuroscience, so I can take everything to a much deeper level. And even in that, they're explaining that the average person has got 40 to 60,000 thoughts per day. And some neuroscientists believe it's even 95% are about the past.
Oh,
and
yes.
That's no good to us. I know it can help us direct things and avoid things that we may have done in the past, but ultimately you're far more powerful if you can be looking to the future. If you can build that really exciting future for you, that will pull you forward. So again, if we bring it back to health and weight, if you know the lifestyle that you want, if you know the weight you want to be, if you know the sort of life you want to enjoy, then you can start to build a program around that, and that's got pulling power. Whereas if you just look at what you've done in the past, it just pulls you back and you are chained to the past. You can change any day of your life. Today could be the day. If you say, I won't say that, but if you say, damn it, I'm changing today, any expletive you like, I am changing right here, right now, and you commit to that, then you can do it. And that was, for me, that's why I always go back to my light bulb moment. Having a baby at 50 years of age was the moment where I said, I'm done, that's enough, I'm doing it for the kids. And that really changed everything, and it's helped me to do that. And so I can help you find that leverage. I can help you define what that future is for you, whether it's your career, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your weight, it can be anything. And the transformational side of things is really important, because ultimately people think in a particular way, and they're recycling it over and over and over again. And what you've got to help them do is get to the point, the insight, the understanding that everything is going to be all right. Literally, I personally believe that we are all fine. We are fine. We just need to clear our minds and get back to what we're all about. We're all too busy being human doings and doing stuff, where actually we're human beings. Just be. If you can get back to that core essence of who you are as an individual, and that's different for everyone, you probably have that little voice speak to you and give you the guidance that you're after. But most of us never listen for it. Most of us never listen out for it. Most of us are too busy just getting on with what we call life.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So I've been Narelle Summers, emotional wellbeing coach and speaker. You can have a look on my website, Narelle Summers. I'm actually on Facebook. I've got 2 Facebook groups. One's called Be Kind to Your Mind, and the other one is called Why Wait. And also I've got a Facebook page as well, Narelle Summers, and I'm also on Instagram as Narelle Summers. So please feel free to join my groups and follow me on social media. And also, if you know of any organisation, whether they want a Zoom speaker or a real life speaker now, because we can go into events, how excited is that? For a wellbeing speaker, my keynote is called Be Kind to Your Mind. So drop me an email. That would be fantastic. Just want to say thank you so much, Paul, for giving up your Saturday morning. I know the sun is shining and you probably would have been out in the garden today, but you're sat at home doing this programme. So a big thank you to Paul. And if you wanted to give somebody just one piece of advice about weight loss, what would you say?
I think the best advice is set yourself a goal, know what it is that you want, and then move towards it slowly. Don't panic, just take your time, but know that that is your focus. That is what you want to do. And then you can start to do it. You just got to take the first steps. There's that old saying, every journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And that is the right step. So set yourself the goal, know what it is that you want to achieve, and then think about it all day in and day out, and you're likely to start moving toward it.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to finish this program off with the power and snap, because everybody has the power within inside them to change.
Yes, so don't forget, if you've missed this show or any other show, you can go to our website, www.smileradio.co/on-demand. You can listen again for free, or you can download the podcast for £1. And we get 62p of that, so every little helps. Says the elephant weeing in the sea. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, everybody, and thanks again for tuning in. Take care.
The microphone that I am holding, copywritten lyrics on the campus, know that they all snap. Don't need the police to try to save them. Your voice will sing, so please stay off my back, or I will attack, and you don't want that. I got the power.